All right, guys, Paul Singh, the Market Speculator, with the trade report for June 21st, 2018. For Thursday, this is coming Wednesday evening. Have a busy morning. Have your stops in place in the morning in case I'm not there at the open. But things are looking pretty good. SPY, we wanted it to get over the 9. That's what we were talking about this morning. But at least it held the gap up because a lot of times these things will fade. So that's a positive. Maybe tomorrow we get up over the 9 or we consolidate and break out. But things are looking pretty good. Overall, I like the action in the market. And more importantly for us, the Qs bounced nicely, 0.71%, right over the 9. Looks like we're getting solid continuation. And then IWM as well. So, we'd like this SPY to be doing a little better. But what's really important to us is the Qs and IWM continue to do well, continue to stay extended while consolidating some of the moves. So we like a consolidation here that didn't pull back too much, so it doesn't stop us out of positions. So that's a good thing. So this is still a really hot market going into the first day of summer. You know the story about, most of you have heard, sell in May, go away, come back in fall. I don't know exactly how they say it, but summer has been good to us. We're getting a big run in the summer months here. So that's good. We took profits in Facebook. I was a little conflicted here, honestly, because I do feel the market can run here, but I want to make sure I'm getting some good gains. We had that middle period after the beginning of the year where I would get these gains and then they would pull back in and I wouldn't capture it. So I want to make sure I'm capturing gains, and they are bigger than normal. 2355 is the kind of size we want to see. Anything, when I'm looking at this account, anything above 1500 is good. So when we're getting, 2300 on the trade, essentially, I think we ended up getting like 2.5 to 1 on it. That's pretty good. So we know what we did with Facebook. It was the continuation, pullback entry, remount of the 9, and then boom, we got the lower end of the range. I think I got out 201.40. We talked about 202 to 208. Maybe it continues to run. It probably will, and maybe I'll be regretting it, but at least we got the good gain, and you can't complain when you get 2 to 1. Now, I entered Kohl's. We talked about wanting to get into retail. There were a bunch to choose from. I like the pattern here. We had the big run, a nice pullback, and now we've remounted the 9, and things are looking pretty good. We'll play it to at least the top of the range here. Stop is going to be about 2 points, which gets us to the bottom of today's candle, which also gets us right below the 9 as well. And then target will be somewhere between 3.5. We'll assess when we get to 80 whether we think it can run some more, but at least right around 80. So nice looking setup here. We're in retail. We want to be in retail. I was trying to choose between this one and Buckle. I felt there was more potential to the top of the range, more room to get to the top of the range on Kohl's. And Kohl's is a little more volatile, which is surprising because department stores aren't usually like that. And then LABU, fantastic move here today. We got a 6% move up to essentially our target level. And I got some emails. Should I take profits here? I'm going to go for a third day of bounce. Maybe it's a fourth day if we include this, but I consider this more consolidation. But ideally now we get a quick bounce tomorrow. Maybe we are able to get out at 118 or 120. But I will get in. If we do bounce tomorrow, I will get out. And stops are already moved to entry level. So we are at break even or win on this one. And hopefully nothing happens like the Baidu trade. And speaking of Baidu, let's go to that one. Liking what I'm seeing here. We held through this and looks like it might pay off. So, we're back above our entry level. Only 1 point, but we're back above the entry level. So the gap down strategy seems to be working. Now let's see if we can get up over the 9. If we get up over the 9 here, we're back to trend continuation. And I would not be surprised to see that move to 280, 285. So happy with what I'm seeing in Baidu, and then AAXN, another one. I think I'm forgetting my entry point here. Let me see if I've got it written down. 65.80. So we're up about 2.5 points already, and initial target is at 70. And again, I'm going to reassess according to the market whether I think I should play for a break of 70 or just take the profit at 70. Position size is decent at 300 shares. So essentially every point is going to be another $300. So maybe 71, 72. If we could get to 72, 73, that would be great. But we'll assess what we're seeing in the market. So all of our positions are looking really good right now. There is a lot to choose from in this market right now. We do feel a little, it's interesting because, the indexes don't necessarily feel overheated, but a lot of stocks do. Netflix, for example, let's go to the focus list now. This is a concerning candle here. Nothing I would say go short. I actually got 3 questions today about this. Is this a doji that we would short at extended levels? The only way I would consider shorting this is if we get confirmation tomorrow. So if tomorrow, say we close down under 410 or maybe 407, then we could consider this that evening star type pattern, and maybe we consider a short. But for now, we're just going to watch. And Amazon, nothing really to do with Amazon, nothing to do with Google. Facebook now we're out of, and if it pulls back, I will consider re-entering, but only on a pullback. Twitter, and also I'm going to be really hesitant to enter positions. I'm sitting on 5 right now, or 4 right now. Maybe I'll add another one, but there's a lot of choices for you guys if you are looking to enter. Twitter, most of these now are at spots where you can play it 2 ways. Play the pullback, and on every one of these, I'm not going to go through each one and say the same thing, but it's pull back and hold or break the top of the range. Essentially, we're looking at a value play or a breakout play. And Twitter fits that category. Now here are the cybersecurity stocks. We like cybersecurity. They are extended. QLYS, I would wait for a pullback to the 9. Cyber, wait for a pullback. PanW, wait for a pullback. Race has already pulled back. I want to see how it handles the 9 here. If it puts in a pivot here and starts to bounce and we get a close above 145, I will definitely consider Race. GWPH, similar. It's already bouncing. I want to see how it handles the 9, but I like GWPH a lot. RH, breakout pullback. I want to see how it handles the 9. Energy is coming back. Let's see if it can break the 9. Lulu, one of our retails. I already talked about Buckle. UA, I like a lot. I want to see it break the 9. I would consider an entry there. And then we've got a couple of beaten down stocks that have, in this great market have done poor, but they are good stocks. Win, it's extended to the downside. I'm not going to trade it right now, but I want to see if at some point here it starts to bounce. And same goes for FSLR. Solars were really on fire. And then, they've kind of cratered here, but I would watch for bottoming formations in some of these guys as well. And SEDG, same thing. I almost entered AMBA today. Actually, I did in one of my other accounts. That's why I got a little mixed up. And you'll notice in the heading of calls, it actually said AMBA. Because I was thinking about another trade I made. But AMBA is looking good here. I would consider this one for an entry if you're looking for something. A gap down, looks like it's filling the gap and ready to reach maybe 47 or 48. And then we've got these IPOs that are extended. Interestingly enough, in about 20 minutes, I'm going to be teaching the boot camp, and I'm going to be talking about shorting extended stocks, and we've got a bunch of them right now. Again, we do not have signals, so these could still be longs. But these things have moved 100%, and at this point, I start looking for that last big push and then a reversal candle. They're not there yet, but we want to watch them. Hui is interesting because we could be playing a bounce of the 9 or a breakout of the 50 or a potential short. So everything is in play with Huya. We just have to see what signal it gives us. Billy is already cratering. So we basically had a short signal here and it's cratering. Maybe you could potentially even short it on the break of the 9. I haven't even looked if there's shares available on what I trade through IB, but Huya and IQ do have shares available to short. Shack getting very extended. We should be on watch. Spotify. This one looks like an interesting long as it bounces above the 9. Look at DBX. This is a good example of these things that are good short plays after a big move up. And Apron, Blue Apron, sorry. Look for a break of the 50-day moving average after it has been beaten down. So a really interesting market right now, a lot of opportunity. Hopefully, we can get some wins out of the trades we're in and continue this nice run we've had. Again, have your stops in place. If we've moved it up, have it moved up. There's a chance I might not be around at the open.